Yes, another package. This one's interesting, though. Check this out. Comes from Greece. But not with love. And let me show you why I say not with love. It's full of this crap. So, I don't even know if I could dig through that without making a giant mess out of literally everything. Yeah, got all that off. And I've looked in the box. Don't look if there's anything else in there but packing peanuts. So, thank God that's over. What do we have here? This is certainly interesting and not really at all what it looks like just on the surface. Manufactured by AEG Olympia. The model is Olystar 20, or Olystar. I don't know how you're actually supposed to pronounce that word, but I'm going to call it Olystar 20, just because that sounds right to me. And from the looks of things, this looks like, you know, a decent 286 or 386 clone. It's actually got a PS2 port on the side for the keyboard. I have this adapter here. The entire case is made out of metal, except maybe the front. That might be plastic, but it certainly feels like the entire thing is made out of metal. It's surprisingly heavy for the pizza box that it is. You can see on the back, it has a TTL video output, so I can't use this or I can't test it right now. It does support color and mono. It's set to mono right now. Printer port. There is RS-232 serial right there. And the power connection. This looks like a German company. Not just because it says Germany on it. We can see here, date code 900212, 1990. Almost like that Craftsman computer that I looked at recently, which was actually from 1989. And of course, there's 2 expansion slots. But there is more than meets the eye here, because a boring 286 or 386 from 1990 really probably wouldn't be worth purchasing, nor would it be worth having shipped from somewhere like Greece. Let me pop the cover and we'll show you what's interesting about this. Okay, I went ahead and pop the cover. That's really kind of a weird reset switch. Also note that there's no turbo, so you'd have to use a key combination for that, but that's certainly fine. Look at how empty this board looks. There's really not much to see here. Taking a closer look here, I imagine this is the RAM right here. These chips. I don't know how much memory this actually has in it. Maybe those are also RAM. Could also be video memory. I don't know whose video this actually uses. 88093. Made in Taiwan, Republic of China. There's your dip switches. This predates by setup utilities being standard issue. Paradise. This has got Paradise video. PVC4. Someone can look that up and give me the 411 on what the specs are. Again, there's not much really that's all that interesting. Thank God there's no battery. Because that would have been a problem. But there is one thing that this is harboring that makes this rather unique. Fortunately, this has a switch that's accessible, so I can just go ahead and switch that to 115 like it's supposed to be. Or it should be from here on out. Let me show you what's interesting about this. Go ahead and we'll pull this cable out of the way. Take a look at that. That is an 8088 processor makes this an XT class system from 1990 with dual 3.5-inch floppy drives. So again, very much an oddity for its time, 1990. Very much a late model. That explains why there's no 16-bit slots, if you were wondering. So, it's very clean. In fact, it's in very good condition. So, that's pretty neat. Power supply looks good. This definitely has that old electronic smell to it, but it doesn't smell like, you know, capacitors or any other things like that. Like I said, it is extremely clean. I almost feel wrong about opening it up and exposing it to dust. Fan. Is that, no, that's DC 12-volt fan. Spro fan. Whatever that means. So, what else to do but to go ahead? What I really should do is I really should purchase one of those, what do they call them? MCE2 VGA adapters. That'll do the 9-pin digital output there and convert it to VGA. But, I don't know. Other interesting things about this system. I did find a pamphlet that listed another bunch of models. And interestingly, in that list of models, there were some laptops that looked very much like the Zenith Supersport. So I almost wonder if maybe this is a rebadged Zenith Data Systems computer. Go and take a look here. There's your settings guide. That's for the dip switches. There's a couple of different switches. You could put your own video card in here if you wanted to. So, I don't know if any of that's correct. Switch 1 and switch 2. Let's see if I can find those on here. Oh, I found switch 2. Switch 1 is not populated. Well, that's interesting. So, let's see. Switch 2 is off on... Looks like 2, 7, and 8 are on. So if we take a look at that. 2 is on. So there is no, that means there's no math coprocessor. 7 and 8 means we have one disk drive. There's actually 2. So that's a little interesting. 1 should be on. And it's not, it's off. So the configuration on this doesn't really match that quick guide. The switches are in the right positions on here. So I don't know. That's kind of weird. So it's definitely probably got an invalid configuration. I'll have to go through it and figure that out. But switch 1 is not populated at all. So there is no... It looks like the only thing that switch 1 is actually used for is the expanded memory. Sorry, extended memory, I think, is what EMS is for. Is extended, not expanded. There is a difference that a lot of people don't get right. So, I'll go ahead and I'll give it a quick spin up. But I don't have a monitor here that'll actually work with it. Does this have a speaker? I don't see one. So it doesn't look like this actually has any kind of onboard speaker or anything like that. So that's kind of interesting, unless it's underneath there somewhere. But I don't see it. I don't even see provision to plug in a speaker. Kind of an oddity. Looks like this could have used a standard XT connection. I'm actually kind of curious about that with this PS2 connector. I wonder if this will work with an AT keyboard or the AT scan codes, or if you need an XT keyboard. This is kind of interesting. I don't think I've seen one of these with the XT wiring or XT trim with a PS2 keyboard port before. I'll put the cover back on and plug it in and we'll see what happens. I have it switched to 110 now. Well, it was in perfect condition. Just about anyway. And from a distance, it almost looks like it still is. But when you get close, it doesn't take too long to realize we got a problem here. What happened? Well, dude, I'm so mad. It's my own damn fault. I didn't drop it or anything like that. No, I'm not that much of a klutz. I'm just a dumbass. And what happened is this cover did not really want to go back into place, and it still really, even now, didn't want to go back into place because it's actually kind of a terrible design. Just a little bit of a terrible design, not that I'm excusing what I did. It got stuck, and I tried to pull it off. Wouldn't come off from the side, so I tried pulling it off from the front, and you can imagine what happened then. So, yeah, do as I say, not as I do. Don't ever do that. That's a great way to break things, especially thin plastic like this. I guess that confirms that the front panel is plastic. Just wish I never would have had to figure that out, but I don't know what to do with it now. It's not worthless or anything like that. It's just, it's worth a lot less. And I'll probably never find another one. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you could find like a front panel or something from one. See if we can plug this thing in. I can't see what I'm doing. Now watch it explode or something equally as hilarious. I do want to see if it'll at least power on. Which it does. Oh, it does have a speaker in it. I think that's purely a fan. Yep. Looks like it works. So that's cool. At least it's functional. But, yeah. Go figure. Perfect condition computer that managed to survive coming all the way here to Greece, and it lasted in my possession for what, like an hour? And it broke. Ridiculous. So, whatever. I'm sure I can fix that. I think something like methyl ethyl ketone can probably put these pieces back together. Of course, I don't know about that. I don't really want to do too much of it, and a lot of these pieces are fairly large. So, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do about it. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do now. I'm going to stop the video because there's nothing else that I need to do. So, there you go. There was a perfect example of an AEG Olympia Olystar 20. Now it is a functional example with a completely mutilated front panel. Because yours truly doesn't really understand how to do things. So, of course, good luck finding another faceplate for one of these things. I suppose you could probably 3D print something if you really wanted to. It's just so stupid. I'd rather it look original. So, well, I don't know. I'll do something. Maybe there'll be a video of that at some point.